Welcome to Cape Town News. Today is Sunday, the 7th of September, 2025, and in case you missed it, here's a recap of the top stories that made headlines in the Western Cape this past week. Cape Town has officially overtaken all rivals to become the most expensive city in Africa for property, according to the Africa Wealth Report from Henley & Partners and New World Wealth. Prime real estate now averages an astonishing 102,750 rand per square meter, with luxury apartments between 100 and 200 square meters costing more than anywhere else on the continent. Since 2010, property prices in the mother city have surged by 160%, far ahead of Johannesburg, where growth has been less than half that pace. The Western Cape's unique mix of natural beauty, lifestyle, and affluent buyers has driven this boom, attracting both local and international investors. South Africa still holds Africa's largest wealth market, with over 41,000 millionaires and 8 billionaires, accounting for a third of the continent's private wealth. While Johannesburg remains top for total wealth with 11,700 millionaires, Cape Town is catching up quickly, boasting 35 centimillionaires worth more than $100 million. Analysts predict the mother city could surpass Johannesburg in total wealth by 2030. Meanwhile, housing data from Lightstone and Pam Golding shows Cape Town leading national house price growth at over 7% year-on-year, with sectional title and coastal properties surging ahead. Industry experts say strong investment demand and the coastal lifestyle premium are cementing Cape Town as Africa's benchmark luxury property hub. Community anger has erupted after the death of Tanzanian national Isakwisa Atupele Mwamasaj, known locally as Ras Issa, during police stop in Mowbray. Witnesses allege he was pinned down by officers who suspected he had swallowed drugs and that he stopped moving after showing signs of distress. Video footage of the incident has since circulated, sparking outrage and trauma within the Tanzanian Cape community. Leaders say Issa is the third Tanzanian man to die in police custody in just 2 weeks, following similar cases in Belleville and Joe Slovo. Family and friends accuse the police of brutality and demand accountability, saying he should have faced trial if suspected of wrongdoing. Police spokesperson Warrant Officer Joseph Swartboy said Issa was detained after swallowing drugs, later complaining of severe pain before dying in hospital. An inquest docket has been opened and the Independent Police Investigative Directorate will probe the case. Provincial Police Commissioner Lieutenant General Thembisile Patekile promised full transparency, stressing that the SAPs must police with dignity and within the law. The Independent Police Investigative Directorate spokesperson Lizzie Souping confirmed the investigation is underway. The case has renewed debate about police conduct and the treatment of foreign nationals in the Western Cape. The Western Cape Education Department has reassured schools that there will be no further cuts to teaching posts in 2026, maintaining the allocation at 35,934 posts. This follows last year's difficult decision to cut 2,407 positions amid budget shortfalls, sparking concerns from teachers, unions, and parents. Education MEC David Maynard explained that the department prioritized protecting critical learner support services such as school nutrition, learner transport, and special needs programs, even while reducing posts in 2025. He said the latest circular from Head of Department Brent Walters confirms stability for the next school year. The announcement comes after consultations with unions and school governing body associations, but some critics say it does not go far enough. Ridwan Ahmed of the National Professional Teachers Organization of South Africa warned that keeping post numbers flat will strain classrooms as learner numbers continue to grow. DA spokesperson Peter Johnson added that the system still faces pressure requiring more teachers and stronger investment in support services. Maynard acknowledged the uncertainty, saying future adjustments depend on the National Treasury providing additional funds. Basic Education Minister Siviwe Guarube has been urged to lobby for extra resources at the national budget later this year. While stability offers temporary relief, the province admits real challenges remain. Kensington teen Abdul-Khalid Alexander, aged 13, is making waves in football after shining during an international cultural sports tour to Sweden. Representing Lifezone Soccer International, a Factorton-based non-profit, Alexander scored an astonishing 26 goals across 2 major tournaments. He netted hat-tricks in 6 matches, helping his team win first place in the PTO Summer Games and second in the Storsjökuppen International Youth Tournament. Speaking about his experience, Alexander said it was his first time on a plane and abroad, describing the people as welcoming and the trip as unforgettable. He began playing soccer at age 4 and dreams of one day wearing the Bafana jersey and playing for Liverpool. His mother, Carmela, expressed immense pride, stressing the importance of balancing sport with academics. Lifezone Soccer founder Jeremy Weingard praised both boys' and girls' performances on tour, which also included a life skills camp in Sävar near Umeå. Teachers at Sunderland Primary School, where Alexander is a learner, hailed his discipline and potential, saying his talent and work ethic embody their school motto of striving to achieve. Alexander closed with a message to youth: work hard, stay in school, and listen to your parents. The City of Cape Town has launched urgent talks with the Western Cape Department of Police Oversight and Community Safety after law enforcement found children, some as young as 7, abusing codeine cough syrup to make the drink known as lean. MACO member for Safety and Security J.P. Smith says officers in Lavender Hill uncovered empty bottles in parks and arrested a suspected dealer carrying multiple bottles, cash and ledgers, allegedly tracking sales to minors. Smith says several police stations have previously opened cases because bulk sales require a license under medicines regulations, but on this occasion, SAPS members on scene allegedly declined to act, citing that the product is legal. The city now wants a standard approach across stations and has escalated the matter to MEC Henri Marais. Officials warn that codeine misuse harms developing brains, increases the risk of respiratory depression, and is sometimes mixed into drinks at parties without consent. Parents are urged to lock medicines away, check school bags, and look for warning signs such as pinpoint pupils, drowsiness, mood swings, or syrup smells. Residents can report suspicious sales to 0800110077 or 107. The city will also brief school governing bodies and pharmacists, step up compliance inspections at spaza shops, and partner with neighborhood watches to disrupt supply. Public health teams will run awareness sessions in hotspot communities, while law enforcement targets dealers near transport hubs. Police statistics presented to the Western Cape Legislature show at least 63 children were murdered between the 1st of April and the 31st of August, underscoring how gang violence continues to devastate communities. Major General Luyanda Demoyi told the Standing Committee that teenagers aged 15 to 17 made up 71% of victims, with a further 11% aged 11 to 14. Smaller proportions were aged 0 to 5 and 6 to 10. Social Development Head Dr. Robert MacDonald said longer-term data shows 557 children were killed from 2022 to 2024, with 387 of them teenagers. He cautioned that while the pandemic years briefly lowered many crime indicators, the subsequent rise is concentrated among older children, mirroring the pull of gangs and firearms. MPL Memory Boysen urged faith leaders and civil society to strengthen violence prevention programs and mediation in hotspot streets. Social Development MEC Jacko Lont acknowledged pressure on safe care facilities and budgets, adding that placements for children under threat still outstrip available beds. Policing activist Patricia Mashale said the figures describe a generation at risk of not reaching adulthood. Committee members called for a coordinated response: targeted policing, witness protection, trauma counseling, after-school sport and tutoring, and rapid referrals for families facing extortion and displacement. Cape Town's retail landscape is set for a major transformation following the announcement that Spear Right has secured approval to acquire Maynard Mall in Wynberg for a staggering 455 million rand. The mall, which has served the community for decades, is about to undergo a new chapter under Spear's ownership, promising to bring both stability and fresh investment into the area. Maynard Mall covers more than 25,000 square meters and attracts roughly 6 million shoppers annually. Anchored by ShopRite, the center also houses Clicks, Pep, Capitec, Absa, Nedbank, and a variety of eateries and gyms. The deal, approved by the Competition Commission, will be finalized once property transfer is completed in January 2026. The center's low vacancy levels and consistent foot traffic made it an attractive acquisition for Spear, which has committed to maintaining affordability while enhancing the shopping experience. In line with sustainability efforts, the mall is already equipped with a 924 kilowatt solar power installation. Local business owners in Wynberg have welcomed the news, saying it promises more jobs, stability, and a renewed focus on customer experience. With the transaction set to unlock growth, Wynberg is once again in the spotlight as a bustling hub in Cape Town's southern suburbs. Cape Town was shaken yesterday when a naked man disarmed a police officer on Keyroom Street before being arrested in a dramatic scuffle. Provincial Police spokesperson Lieutenant Colonel Malcolm Pochi said the incident unfolded just after 1 p.m. when officers responded to reports of a naked man disturbing the peace. On arrival, the man refused to cooperate and attempted to resist arrest. During the struggle, he managed to wrestle a firearm from one officer and fired several shots. Miraculously, no one was injured. 3 officers eventually subdued and arrested him. The suspect now faces charges of firearm robbery, discharging a weapon in a public space, and public indecency. He is expected to appear in the Cape Town Magistrates Court soon. In a separate case, the murder investigation into the stabbing of a car guard in Blouberg Strand has seen fresh developments. Police confirmed that while a 24-year-old woman was released after charges against her were withdrawn, her male partner remains in custody. CCTV footage allegedly captured the pair fleeing Marine Circle shortly after the incident. The man faces a formal charge of murder and is due back in court this week. These 2 incidents highlight both the unpredictability and severity of crimes unfolding across Cape Town, where police continue to call for calm while they intensify investigations. The Western Cape government has launched a major legal challenge against the National Health Insurance Act in the Constitutional Court, warning that the law threatens both provincial powers and the quality of healthcare delivery. Premier Alan Winde and Health MEC Professor Noma French Mbombo confirmed that the province is demanding clarity on how the NHI will be funded and how accountability will be maintained. They argue that the law centralizes decision-making in Pretoria and strips provinces of authority to manage hospitals such as Groote Schuur and Tygerberg. According to the province's legal team, the NHI could consume hundreds of billions of rand, requiring new taxes or cuts to essential services. Civil society groups, including Section 27, have voiced support for universal healthcare, but share concerns about corruption risks and the lack of clear safeguards. The Western Cape has consistently outperformed other provinces on health outcomes, with Cape Townians relying on provincial hospitals for advanced treatments. Officials say a one-size-fits-all model will erode those gains. Health MEC Mbombo stressed that the province is not against universal access, but insists that affordability and sustainability must be addressed first. The Constitutional Court has confirmed receipt of the application, and a hearing date is expected before the end of the year. Analysts say this will be one of the most important constitutional cases since democracy, with the judgment likely to shape healthcare policy for decades. Cape Town is celebrating one of its most iconic cultural figures as Pieter-Dirk Uys turns 80 this month. Known for his fearless comedy and political satire, Uys has spent 6 decades using laughter to confront fear and challenge authority. His famous alter ego Evita Besadenhout became a household name during apartheid, skewering politicians while giving South Africans permission to laugh in difficult times. This September, the Artscape Theatre in Cape Town, in partnership with Said Oosterfees, is staging a double bill to mark his milestone birthday. Productions include No Space on Long Street, directed by Basil Apollis and starring Terence Bridget, which revisits the rebellious space theatre days of the 1970s and 1980s, and African Times, directed by Thokozile Nshinga, a politically charged play reflecting current debates. Ace, who grew up in Darling, has performed worldwide, won awards, written novels, and created the cultural landmark Evita Se Perron. Despite his golden years, he continues to write and perform with his trademark wit and raised eyebrow. The Artscape tribute from the 10th to the 20th of September is not just a celebration of his birthday, but also of his fearless voice that has inspired generations. The Western Cape government has blasted the National Department of Sport, Arts and Culture for cutting essential funding from the province's biggest cultural events. Minister Ricardo Mackenzie says the Cape Town International Jazz Festival, Cape Town Carnival, Site Oosterfees, and Open Book Festival are all affected. These festivals, he argues, generate jobs, boost tourism, and foster community pride. The National Department says new festivals elsewhere will replace current ones, but Mackenzie claims this direction ignores the Western Cape's long-standing strategy of developing smaller events into flagship ones. It is unconscionable that national government continues to punish the people of the Western Cape by withdrawing support from festivals that bring communities together, he said. Mackenzie confirmed the Western Cape government will use its strong public-private partnerships to sustain these events, which he calls critical to both the economy and the cultural soul of the province. With ticket sales alone unable to cover operational costs, ongoing public funding remains vital. The Western Cape government will pursue a dual strategy, protecting established festivals while nurturing emerging ones, ensuring no region's cultural expression is silenced. We will not allow the national government's neglect to extinguish the joy, creativity, and economic opportunities that these events provide, Mackenzie concluded. In a major court victory, the Western Cape Network on Disability has halted planned restrictions to Cape Town's dial-a-ride transport service. The cuts would have excluded thousands of non-wheelchair users, citing a R1 million monthly shortfall. Following a court settlement this week, the city must reverse its decision, and the network now has until October 10th to file a full review. Network Chair Michelle Botha slammed the planned cuts as discriminatory and unjustified, saying they would isolate many Cape Townians from jobs, healthcare, and daily life. She also criticized the lack of public consultation. The city argued its budget constraints make it impossible to sustain the service alone, despite already spending more than any other metro on transport for people with disabilities. Officials pointed out that My City buses remain fully accessible, but the court's ruling now forces reconsideration of broader national and provincial support for specialized transport. Activists say it's a wake-up call to rethink inclusive mobility in public policy. For now, thousands of commuters who depend on dial-a-ride can continue using it without disruption. This ruling represents not just a legal win, but a lifeline for the city's most vulnerable residents who rely on the service to live with dignity and independence in the mother city. The Cape begins the week with a gentle start. Cape Town will see partly cloudy skies on Monday, reaching a mild 18 degrees Celsius, with southwesterly winds gusting up to 30 kilometers per hour. Over in Paarl and Stellenbosch, it stays cool at 16 to 17 degrees, with fog patches likely before sunrise and clearing skies by midday. Expect cloudy patches inland, but no widespread rain over the Cape Metro. Swell heights off the Atlantic coast remain steady at 2.4 to 2.6 meters, pushing in from the southwest. Tide watchers: low tide at 7:18 a.m. and high tide around 1:08 p.m. Sunrise is at 6:51 a.m., with sunset at 6:37 p.m. Perfect conditions for morning walks or grabbing a coffee along the promenade. Just pack a light jacket for the breeze. With that, we wrap up this week's recap, and now you know what's happening in the mother city. Thank you for watching Cape Town News. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a story. We appreciate your support. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget, the next bulletin drops tomorrow at 12 noon on YouTube. Meanwhile, stay safe, informed, and connected.